We began our East Coast visit at an absolutely lovely B&B called Sea Beyond, located on the beach in a quiet area north of Trincomalee. The breakfasts here were both huge and delicious. Trincomalee, or Trinco for short, possesses few sites of touristic interest. As a result, it tends to be quieter than the other regions of Sri Lanka, such as the south. One site of major interest is the fascinating Hindu temple called Koneswaram Temple, dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. It is a major pilgrimage site on the East Coast. Many couples seeking children come here to partake in fertility rituals. The temple is sited on a spectacular promontory that overlooks the entrance to the harbor. Another interesting temple was the colorful Sri Bhadrakali Amman Hindu temple, dedicated to the goddess Bhadrakali. Many pilgrims visit here. Some of the rituals include the wafting of purifying incense over them and the smashing of coconuts in a symbolic act of offering oneself to God.
Yeah, I did.
Christianity is also quite prevalent in the region. After Trincomalee, we headed down the east coast for a quiet stay at a small hotel in Potoville. We drove by a Saturday market in a predominantly Muslim part of the coast. This region is known as a surfer's destination. However, since it wasn't surfing season, there weren't too many tourists there. Here's Bev petting a puppy that was rescued by one of the guests. Since it was extremely hot and dry, the locals had to hydrate at the pool. We then explored the south coast on a 6-day trip, staying at 3 different locations. The trip included 2 disappointing jeep safaris at the famous Yala National Game Reserve, a couple of days at the busy and overbuilt Marissa Beach Resort area, and a thoroughly enjoyable 2 days exploring Gaul, an enchanting colonial Dutch fortress town. This elephant has wandered out of the game reserve onto the highway. He's looking for food from passing vehicles. Along the way, we stopped at the Katagarama Temple Complex, which is another important pilgrimage site for the Sri Lankan people. It is one of the few religious sites in the country venerated by Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and the indigenous Veda people.
So this is the main temple?
Main shrine.
Main shrine to Skanda.
Yala National Park is the country's most famous game reserve, covering almost 980 square kilometers. It is famous for having the highest population density of leopards. While we did see a leopard crossing the road in front of us when we were on our way to the park in the early morning, they were MIA on both of our safari runs. Yala, established in 1938, is extremely important for the protection of wildlife and the ecology of the region. Unfortunately for us, the safaris paled in comparison to our experiences in Africa, where the breadth of wildlife is substantially larger. Also, because much of the park is off-limits to safaris, too many vehicles were packed into a limited area, making for a dusty and exasperating viewing experience.
one of the coves along the southern coast.
Marissa is a popular beach town that attracts lots of tourists, including many Russians fleeing from the Ukraine war. We found it much too commercialized and touristy for our taste. The most interesting part of Marissa was its commercial harbor, full of colorful fishing boats and lots of activity.
This little outrigger boat has just returned from about 6 kilometers out in the ocean, and they came back filled with baby tuna. Hopefully I get this, but there's a fish broker buying fish from the fishermen, Marissa Harbor, to take to Colombo. In this shed are the fishermen repairing the nets.
Fishermen use these fishing stilts in shallow waters to catch fish, a traditional method that's little used today. However, now most of these stilts have been set up as commercial enterprises to attract tourists. Gaul, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is primarily known for its well-preserved Dutch colonial structures. It was originally founded by Portuguese colonists in the 16th century. Its architecture today reflects Portuguese, Dutch, and British influences. We thoroughly enjoyed our stay. Emal's restaurant is a charming family-owned and operated establishment. The owners were wonderful and welcoming, and they served up delicious, authentic Sri Lankan food, providing a delightful experience. Our trip along the west coast was primarily to get us to Negombo, which is near the airport, in order to catch a very early morning flight home.
This is one huge water monitor. We thought it was a croc. It's coming for any leftover fish scraps.
They died.
Brief Gardens was the brainchild of Bevis Bawa, a renowned landscape architect and artist. He was also the brother of Geoffrey Bawa, an internationally famous architect in his own right. The garden is notable for its unique blend of tropical landscaping and sculptures and artwork. Bevis Bawa's bohemian character and fame attracted many luminaries to his estate, including Vivian Leigh, Agatha Christie, and Laurence Olivier. Negombo is primarily known for its beaches and its proximity to the airport. Fortunately, we enjoyed our brief stay at the beautiful boutique Villa Hundira Hotel. The decor was tasteful, and the property featured an array of intriguing artwork.